So here we are on day 9 of the southern tier, and in reality it's day 2 for the second portion of my ride. You can see, this is the Canada del Oro River Park Bike Trail, or Pinata del Oro River Park Bike Trail. I don't know which one it is, or how you pronounce it. It's really the bike trail from Oro Valley down in Tucson, and it's a beautiful trail. It connects up with the main Tucson bike trail, which makes a loop around the city. I'm just cutting across the loose gravel there to get on the trail itself rather than finding an entrance. So if you look at the elevation diagram on the right side of the picture, you'll see that this is all downhill. So going this direction into town, where we meet up with the loop, it starts going somewhere around there. It starts going back uphill, and the rest of the ride is uphill, as you can see. But just this portion that I'm going to be talking about right now is downhill, and you can basically fly. Today it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I got a late start. We now have the motorhome with us, and we found out as we were preparing to get the motorhome down there that we were having some issues with the valves to the tires, and so my wife Vicki had to find a place to have them checked out, and so I didn't know when I was going to meet up with her, nor did I know how much these valves were going to cost to be repaired. As you can see, you have beautiful mountains off to your left as you're going south. I think the easier way to take this trail would be to start at the bottom, right up, and then turn around and go the direction I'm going, and make the rest of it downhill if you're doing a return trail. So here you're just alongside what I'm assuming is a dry riverbed, and so we have homes and everything on my left, and I don't recall anything right here being across the other side, but there could well be. I think what I know there is we get further down the trail. But very nice scenery as it relates to the mountains. The trail itself is in very good shape, with the exception of they had a lot of cracks in the pavement. Now, if you're familiar with Arizona in certain areas, the pavement just cracks and leaves a gap of an inch or more, and they have to come along and fill it in. So if you pay attention to me, you can see when I hit the gap. On the picture up in the top right now, you can see the relive portion showing my actual ride. I'm now on the loop bike trail, and of course it's not going to take very long to finish, as most of the ride there is along the loop, and it basically just covers again the dry riverbed, and goes around the city essentially, where you do ride off the trail, off the riverbed, on some surface streets and things like that to make the loop. But still, again, you just have to keep looking at those beautiful mountains off to your left. And the homes aren't much to look at, but at least there's something. Some of the scenery's changing constantly. I'm not quite sure why they have the fencing on the left and right to keep you on the trail, but it might be a protected area, so perhaps that's what it is. Anyhow, I was talking about the pavement. So a lot of this pavement had those holes, and at the beginning they had it must be new cracks in the pavement because they weren't repaired. But well, it was a minor distraction. It wasn't major. It's much better to be riding on this than the city street anyway. The other thing you might note as we go along is the number of bridges they have on this bike trail, like right here. I'm not even ever going to try to count the number of bridges I crossed, but there is quite a few, and it seems like about every mile or two you're going across a bridge that they made for the trail. And so what I'm thinking is it was actually quite expensive to build the bike trail. I'm used to be in areas like Bakersfield, California, that is a really nice bike trail along the riverbed, which is dry most of the year, or in Sacramento that follows the American River on up to Folsom Lake. And there's very few bridges. They just follow, like here they'll go under the road overpasses and that, but very rarely did they build any bridges to go from one side to the other. And if you got put on a bridge on those trails, you were taking a bridge that was built for cars and using that. So that's what I consider the unique part of the bike trails in and around the Tucson area, to include this Canada del Oro. I call it Canada because I'm from Canada, but it could be Canada if it used as French. I don't know if that's French or Spanish term. So anyway, this bike trail, I've tried to include most of it. I don't know if I actually well included all. I may have cut out various parts of it just to save a little time, but based on the length of the video, it seems pretty close. It seems like I traveled about 30 minutes on this portion of the trail. Might have been, well, pretty much longer. I think it's 15 miles total length, so it must be longer than that. Okay, and you can see what I'm just telling you right there. I've tried to do it without cuts. So hopefully that's accurate. I don't remember cutting it, but sometimes to shorten it up, I do that in most of all of the videos, but this is an exception. And as we discuss that, we go over another bridge, and these aren't cheap, but they're really well done. I can't say enough as to how impressed I am for all the money that they put into this. This and all the other bike trails, especially the loop bike trail. So here we're coming up on a couple of riders, probably passing now. And again, if this is the first time you see this video by me, I'm using a GoPro 360 Max, so I can give you a full circle of views in different areas to better show what the view's like. And again, another bridge as we're talking. I really like it, but it takes 3, 4, sometimes 10 times longer than just doing the regular GoPro that has no adjustments. You just download it and go from there. So basically, just to give you an idea what you go through, the videos cut in 7 to 8 minute segments. So if you do an hour, in this case 2 to 3 hour day, you've got to go at real time in 2 to 3 hours in 8 minute segments and go through the video. And so the first thing you're doing is you have to download all your videos, put it on your hard drive. Then the second thing you do is you go through and play each individual segment and then give it a name. I just give them names and numbers. And as you're playing it, you're moving the 360 degree video around in a general circle or thereabouts, so you can see the full view of where you're going. Unfortunately, that has to be done in real time, and it just takes time, and it's something that's not perfect. You just hope that you get everything correct. You can see when you go off to the side, your view becomes bent, and when you're going forward like this directly in front of you, it's fairly normal video, and you wouldn't know it was the 360. I mentioned in the last video I did that there's 2 cameras, one on the front, one on the back, and so there's actually a split in the screen, and as you look, if you look closely, you can actually see where that split is. The other thing is it's based on the horizon, so my camera's at an extreme angle where I've got it on the front handlebars and then bent over my right hand above my hand, so it's not in the way. And the film, when you're playing it back, you just click on the one that does the automatic adjustment for the background, so it's always level. Otherwise, this would be at an extreme angle of 45 degrees that you're watching. But it has a built-in thing that the program will do that for you as long as you play it that way. Here you can see the bend in the picture, and right in the middle of that, where you're not really seeing it there, is where it switches from front to back cameras. Really clever. You don't normally see the camera or what it's attached to, because it actually makes that part of it disappear when it's taking pictures. But if I ever show you, like down on the handlebars or where I come up and turn the video on and off, you'll see just a portion of my hand. You won't see the whole hand. So this is kind of a pain, but you have to do that. So once you go through and do all of the videos in your 8-minute segments and you're done with that, then you have to go through and then combine all of those videos and put them together. Then you have to hook up your Garmin device and connect it up with that, so that you can get your various information on the screen that you'll see every so often. When I'm doing a ride like this, I don't know where I'm at, so it's very difficult to get an exact location, so you're doing this accurately. But again, as I'm talking, notice this is like the 6th bridge since I started talking, and look how long this thing is. Just incredible. So anyway, you have to download all that information, and you have to download it and attach it to every video segment. Otherwise, it won't do it. And if you don't do it right, of course, what you're missing is you don't get a complete description of the elevation. In some of the videos I did, I stopped the camera, and what that does is it ends everything. It just makes it screwed up, so you then have to later get another program to combine all of the stops you made during the day. Now, I've tried to do that, so hopefully I've corrected most of the problems that I've had on that. But the reason I'm not showing my elevation, a map of where I'm going and everything, is because there's so many spots I just don't know where I'm at. And doing in 8-minute segments, I don't know the speed, the location, where I'm going to be. So I've just disregarded that. Now, I mentioned yesterday that among the other things I ride with a heart rate monitor, because I've got 6 stents in my arteries and a pacemaker. So I want to keep track of my heart. And this is the second day in a row I forgot to turn it on before I turned on my Garmin and started running it. The weird thing about the Garmin is when it wants to grab information, all your stuff has to be running and turned on at the time, and I messed that up. This is the most of the people I ran across on this trail. I'm almost done with most of them, but most of the trail, it was fairly quiet the day I rode it. I believe this is Wednesday, and so this is technically the official start, because we're now in the motorhome, we are leaving, and the plan is to continue on what my version of the Southern Tier is until Austin, Texas. As I also described in the prior video that I'm doing, and I will say time and time again, I'm assuming this is my version of the Southern Tier, because I don't particularly like the way they've done it. Now, I live in Arizona, and I know these roads. There's a portion as they leave the Phoenix, Scottsdale area and go up in the mountains. I've driven that, but I haven't ridden it. And then from there you go to Globe. I've never been on that road, so I don't know what that road is or what to expect or anything like that. But I've been down here. I've ridden this trail here before. I've driven on Interstate 10 a lot, so I'm familiar with this area. I do know that there's a portion of the trail from Globe to, all of a sudden I forgot the city, anyhow, in the Gila Valley area, that I just don't like that road, because it's a narrow shoulder and there's a lot of cars. I just decided I was going to avoid it. They originally went straight from the western side of the Phoenix area straight up to Globe on Highway 60, and that is way too dangerous. So they switched it up the other way, but they then took you up a road that for approximately half a mile to a mile and a half, I don't know the exact distance. I should mention, I was kind of surprised when I came up on this stoplight. This was I think, the only light I encountered on the trip until halfway down on the loop where you have to cross over. So on the Tucson loop, you cross back and forth. They actually have the trail on both sides of the dry riverbed, but not all the way. So even though at least 50% of the time you could ride on both sides of the river, you can see other bike riders, you can't ride the entire way on either side uh, of the riverbank. So at different points, you have to cross over on surface streets on the bridge and go to the other side of the bike trail. It's not bad at all, and there are multiple locations where you can do it, so you can choose your own locations. Plus, it also gives you the advantage of when you do that, you can get off and get something to eat if you want. It wasn't an issue for me at all. So anyway, I'm enjoying myself. This is the last nice day of the ride. From now on the rest of this ride, it's basically going to be cold or cooler. These are the two nicest days of the ride going on the southern tier. So tomorrow, when I start riding in the morning, the temperature is supposed to be 15-20 degrees cooler. So you should see that in how I'm bundled up. So going along this road, there were a few spots here where I wasn't sure that I was actually going the right way, and I believe this is actually one of them. I'm going, is this what it's supposed to be going? It looks like I'm going out onto the street, and then just right up here, I believe I turn right, and it's like, I think I'm supposed to turn here. I don't remember. Oh, there's a right turn thing there. I'm not sure I saw that when I was riding, but I just took it and said to myself, I hope this is the right direction. Fortunately, it was. What they really need are some really good GPS routes, so you can just download it to your computer and have a voice-controlled system telling you when the next turn is and when to turn. My complaint actually bought the Southern Tier maps all the way across, and when I was going through Los Angeles, I literally got lost about 6 times. Now, I didn't go very far. I recognized that I was going beyond where I was supposed to, so it wasn't real bad, but I really prefer a map in front of me. I'm spoiled on my GPS unit and having it direct me. That is when I'm going where I don't know where I'm going. So today wasn't bad. I've never ridden this part of the bike trail before, so I'm guessing where everything is. Once I get on the actual bike trail, I know where most of it is. I've ridden it several times, not a lot, so I have a much better idea of where to cut across. Now, I don't know everything on that trail, so because I haven't ridden it enough. Maybe I should mention at this point in time, when it comes to the loop bike trail, which is videos 2 of 3 and 3 of 3, this is video 1 of 3. I have another version on my YouTube channel where I've sped it up to 10 times the normal speed, so you can very quickly see the entire length of the bike trail that I rode that day, much faster than you're going to see today. Today it's in real time, and I guess that's about it. Hopefully everything is okay. I originally downloaded these without a commentary, and if you prefer no commentary, maybe what you can do is leave me comments and say I'd prefer you weren't talking, just let us listen to music and the small screenwriting that I say when different things are happening, that you're happy with that. I've just seen so many different versions I don't know what people prefer or don't prefer. I actually like the thing done at 10 times the speed. With the 360 camera, that's a little more difficult because it only does 10 times the speed on regular 1080p format. So I couldn't give you a full 360 view. In order to do it at 10 times the speed, what I have to do is edit everything, put it down, and then save it. Once I've completed the video and finished it completely, I resave it at 10 times the speed. Again, requires a lot more work, but I can't do the commentary at 10 times the speed either, so none of the music can be included and none of the words. So the commentary for that as well has to be added after I've gone through, saved it once, and then redone it at 10 times the speed, and then put in the commentary. Now, that's not the case for this one. So, again, to reiterate, I'm really enjoying this ride. This is just not ever having been in here on this bike trail. So this is all new to me, and I'm just enjoying doing this for my first time. Now, this is a rarity on the bike trail where we're actually separated. One's down lower than the other, but it's on a few different locations on the bike trail, very few. Now, what else can I add? I guess I should add that being an avid cyclist, I've been riding seriously since 1972. I've gone on a lot of tours from Sacramento to Canada by myself, loaded terrain on that one. I've gone on just a huge amount of rides doing loaded terrain, backpacking, bike packing throughout California and Washington and Oregon with friends and across southern British Columbia. But what happened when I got in an accident 5 years ago, broke both my wrists, and took out a rear window of a car that had stopped in the bike lane that I didn't see. And it was shortly after that when COVID hit, and then I had my stints. By that time, I was 71, 72. I purchased an e-bike, and I eventually got rid of my expensive road bike. I gave it to my son, and then I've gone almost completely e-bike. I still have 3 regular road bikes in my garage, and another one at my son's house that isn't the one that I gave him. So I can do all that, and as I've said in previous videos, the bike I'm riding today is a Specialized Trio. It's actually large frame, carbon fiber, and includes the Shimano wireless shifters, which I really prefer, and I like that. I got the carbon frame solely because I get a lot of numbness in my hands, and I get a lot of pain in my neck, and I was trying to cut out as much of the numbness as I could and as much as the pain that I could. I have found recently that I'm having trouble cutting out pain in my neck, so I guess I'm just living with that right now. So this year I celebrate my 3/4 of the century mark, so I took 75 in a couple of months. but in the meantime, I'm still a young 74. So safety features, I've got my rear view mirror that I have on attached to my glasses. I've got a rear view radar, a Garmin rear view radar that also has the camera, so I'm taking pictures all the time. Even if I don't have my GoPro turned on, I've got that camera going. If should something happen, I ride with a separate flashing tail light, and most of the time I ride with a flashing red, flashing blue light. It's not as bright as the other lights, but it's just there to attract attention. Then I also ride with a front headlight. I ride it with it in the flashing mode. Now, a day like today, I would have that on. If I ride on the freeway where I don't really have head-on traffic, it's off. My wife tells me that she prefers me to have it so that when she's way down the road in front of me, she can actually see me coming because of my flashing light. Other safety features that I have, let's see. I don't think they're safety features. I ride with tubeless tires, and I prefer that because I do not like changing tires. The electric bikes have thicker wheels and just a little harder to get off rather than the quick release, and it's a little more weight to flip the bike over upside down, especially when you've got all your gear on a day like today. It works out well. I did not have a flat tire the entire time in California. I'm sorry, in Arizona that I'm aware of, nor New Mexico. But I probably had several and was just saved from them because my first flat tire came in El Paso, Texas, and that was because I had no goo in the tire, and that obviously means all the goo was blowing out. So I consider them a safety feature in that it lets me keep riding. And if I have in the past had a flat where I looked at it and I just used I carry a CO2 cartridge and just blew up the tire, and I didn't have any further problems. So here we're back. You can see all the different information I've got that Garmin puts out, and you'll notice that the heart rate monitor BPM is showing 0 just because I was an idiot and didn't turn it on. That's old age coming in. So you can see we're at the 9.2 mile mark. I'm not flying right now. I'm just 15 to 17 miles an hour. And, well, it says I'm coasting, so all the information isn't up to date, accurate for right at the minute. So just up that short hill, it looks like I'm just getting it up to max 200 watts. Temperature shows it as 91. It's probably closer to 80, 82 or so. And as you can see, even though, well, it looks like I'm going up a grade right now. It shows that I'm going up at 1%. So that means I've just gone under the freeway back there a little ways. That's Interstate 10. And I'm going around to catch up to and transfer over to the Loop Tucson Bike Trail. And I can see this video is coming up close to an end. So my actual ride across the Cañada del Oro or Canada del Oro bike trail is over, and I'm just riding the connection between that bike trail and the Loop Bicycle Trail. So And I say that, and shoot, I think I remembered this little golf course. Well, it's not a golf course, it's a driving range. Just before I went under the tent, so maybe I'm not quite under the tent yet. So we'll see as we go along here. Just off to the left, as I recall, if you went a little further to the left of all that area there, would be Costco and quite a few other businesses. So we'll see if I remember this right. But see, I thought I was already down there. But yeah, see, it showed a -1 for a little while, but I was going down. So I'm willing to bet you this is Interstate 10 right here. Yeah, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 underpasses. So there I am. This is the end of the Cañada del Oro Bicycle Trail, or however you pronounce that. I like Canada better, just for my heritage. Thank you again for listening. Please watch. I would invite you to watch parts 2 and 3 of this day. Hopefully I have not bored you. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it. And if you didn't, don't give me a thumbs down, but if you could just leave a comment and say what it was that bothered you, or give me some help in changing my videos around to make it more interesting for you.